Okay.
Okay, I'm going to call the Inland Wetlands special meeting for May 15th into order. Let's start with introduction of the committee. I don't see anyone online.
Laura's online.
Oh, Laura.
Laura Ferguson, Commissioner.
Thank you, Laura.
Greg Johnston,
Pat Fairford, Chair.
Danielle Monroe, alternate.
Nicholas Jordan, Commissioner.
Dave McCollum, Inland Wetlands Agent.
Erin Churchill, Recording Secretary.
Okay, thank you. So this is a continuation of the public hearing for 185 Grassy Plain Street. Is that correct?
So we submitted a letter last week granting an extension to your next meeting. And we'd like to ask that you just table this to that meeting. We're working on obtaining an expert to help us talk about butterflies. Even though that's not in your jurisdiction, we're gonna have to answer the questions for planning and zoning, I assume. So we might as well get it all together.
You mind introducing yourself for the record?
My name is Peter Olson. I'm here on behalf of the applicant.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So make a motion that we table this.
No motion
I love
needed,
no
but I
motions.
think it's
Good.
worth noting for the record that your next regular meeting is on June 26th. And so the applicant in giving you an extension, they're granting you X, whatever that period of days is to get you to that next meeting.
I was noting that butterflies is under planning and zoning commission. It's like, okay.
So
Not
go
very
figure.
how does it affect our timelines?
So you have with a public hearing, you have a standard period of 65 days to open the hearing, then you have 35 days to conduct the hearing itself. And you have 35 days to render a decision. You have 65 days of extension that you can use for any of those three periods. So
If it's granted or by the applicant?
the extension has to be, there has to be consent given by the applicant to grant an extension. So they just granted you guys an extension to essentially continue the public hearing period to get to the next meeting on June 26th. That makes sense.
All right. So our next order of business is Benedict Road / Millbrook Road.
Good evening, Peter Olson for the applicant, Steiner Inc.
Thank you.
This is a continued consideration, it is not a public hearing. But we're still within the timeframes. At the last meeting, you requested that your staff prepare a resolution of approval. And hopefully that's occurred and is distributed. But in the meantime, on the planning and zoning side, we had an exchange of comments with Tom Gallagher, the fire marshal. And as a result of that, we made a very minor site plan change that I just want to highlight for you.
Yeah. Turn around.
Essentially, the issue is whether or not the fire trucks can turn around into two hammerheads. The southern hammerhead here, he said no problem. The northern hammerhead here, he asked for some additional space. So what we've installed is grass pavers. That's like a plastic tray with grass growing in it, so it does not increase impervious coverage. I pointed out to you simply because it's within the other. And we added a little bit to the southern one as well. That's it.
Why use that instead of just paving it? Because
We don't want to increase impervious coverage, number one. Number two, essentially, you're talking about an overhang from the rear of the fire truck that hopefully will never be used. So we don't see any point in putting in pavers or paving.
okay.
We'd rather have it look like grass, but still be.
How many feet? Deep is it?
Doug, the Vesta is here and had the specific answer. We were hoping you didn't have to answer it, but sorry. That's why I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah. Good evening, Doug DeVesta, represent the applicant. The area, the paver, we measure it's 30-40 scale. So it's 20 feet deep by 20 feet, about 25 feet wide, and we added about another 2 or 3 feet along the curvature there, just the fire truck can get in there without any issues.
Okay.
We're only adding that, we're adding. What are we saying? About 104 square feet in the upland review area. That's all.
So eventually it'll look like grass?
It will
or-
be grass, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just for emergency,
Mhm.
like what Peter was saying, you don't want to pave it for something that's gonna be used very, very
Yeah.
infrequent and.
Now I was
also-
thinking something different than. So,
Doug, can you explain what a grass paver looks like?
Sure, think about, you know, a six pack, the plastic thing, what a six pack looks like, it's like a cup. That you put on top of a base, filled with topsoil, you put grass seed in it, and that's it, and it grows up, you won't even see it, there's also concrete grass pavers.
That's the one we've seen.
But that's, you know, that looks more like grass pavers, you can see it more than.
yeah, yeah.
But this is actually like little cups that you fill with dirt, with topsoil, put grass on it,
And they're structured.
and it disappears. That's what we're using, yes.
Yeah.
I'm using it before for that.
weight.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question to you and the applicant, I guess, or about, did you guys consider doing that or using some sort of pervious pavers like that for the driveways?
No.
For example.
Grass
I feel like I've seen
pavers,
it
grass
done.
pavers are not something you want to use on a roadway that is constantly being used to wear out. West Farms Mall, you know, West Farms Mall, up in Hartford, West. You go to the overflow parking, you see all these light posts out there, that's all grass pavers over there. So that's just for overflow parking for Christmas, you know, for Christmas time, things like that. So that's where you see it, but it's not used, grass pavers are not used for a permanent use.
Daily driving,
No,
just crushing it.
No. And then putting pavers down, grass, you know, putting kind of a pavement, it's just, the soils aren't that good up there to do it, you have little sandy soils. I did something like that at the airport mall, where Buffalo Wild Wings are, that parking lot there, that's all in grass paper, that's all in
Like the compound one.
it's in pavers, but it has all sand over there.
So this is a harder soil to work with to
Yeah.
do that, you're saying,
Yeah.
for drainage reasons?
Yes, well, that's why our detention system is,
Right,
it is what it is.
got it.
So do you have to do that? I'm just curious why the fire truck can't go on regular grass, God forbid, they're
Because it could be mud. Yeah. Or
so
snow.
afraid to.
Does that not help?
Okay.
Pretty heavy. Would the concrete pavers, would it help with? It wouldn't help positively with water infiltration into the ground there?
Not here.
Shoot.
No.
Crazy.
Mr. DeVesta, or actually rather, Mr. Chairman, would it be of interest to you guys? I have a street view map.
Sure,
Or
put it
street
up.
view of the Google, of the West Farms, the area I think that
Yeah,
you're talking about.
yeah.
But it looks great, I think, every time I've seen it, right?
It's only
For what now? What-
The concrete, grass.
Yeah.
It's more maintenance and stuff like that too. You gotta keep it, you gotta clean it. If it's not done right,
Makes
it
sense.
pops up on you, things like that. Now parking lots are
There's
over
a park
at the
there,
airport there.
but
the
they get
mall
stuck.
It's, you know,
Never thought of that.
not use that, it's infrequent overflow parking. And it's got good sand and I've never seen a flood. That did see a flood after a major storm, but that's it.
So just for the
Like, I kind of wish my driveway was made, you know what I mean? Like,
so for the commission's context, this is the West Farms Mall context. I think this is the area that Mr. DeVesta is
Yes,
talking about here.
yep.
So I will try to get you guys to street view for that. Just bear with me.
They might not have Durham in there.
There we go. Yep.
So that's what the surface would look like, Mr. DeVesta.
Well, that's the main road.
that gets
But
some
they,
use.
I think that has a gravel in it. But you
Uh-huh.
go up where the actual parking stalls are. Here, you see the curb,
Yep.
so that's where the actual cars will be parking there, and that's in frequent use, so it won't wear out. If you put on a road driveway where there's a lot of use on it, it's gonna wear out.
So
And
this is,
again,
Like regular grass.
this is basically like a plastic grid.
Yeah.
And there's soil underneath it, so it just spreads the weight.
It's a low down.
Okay.
Yeah.
like
And I've used it
on-
before on other jobs, and I think it was over in New York State for a fire. Again, we want to go too wide, you know, because we want to keep the impervious area down, so we want a little narrow, put the grass papers down there, just, it's all for emergency vehicles,
Yeah.
that's all.
Get it? Cool.
So as
Thank
the vehicle's driving on it, it's gonna wear it out. Do you think that it would wear it out in certain spots where the most frequent traffic is on the pattern?
But no one could be out.
Right, but no one's using this,
Just emergency.
Put it on
They get
video.
worn out, they
Yeah.
bomb.
Sorry.
Yeah. exactly.
And even your, it would have to be a fire because your rescue trucks are still small enough to not have to use it. I'm sure he's just worried, he's worried about the.
We did a turning diagrams.
A little larger.
That's fine. Make them happy.
My son is.
Okay,
Cool, yeah.
okay,
Thanks.
Thank you.
Perfect.
okay. Dave, did you, I have a resolution for approval, but this is Whitney Road.
Right, that's something that you need to sign. I was gonna put the draft resolution of approval for this application up on the screen.
Oh, you're doing it.
And then we'll have hard copies for you guys to review, if that's okay. I'm trying to get away
Not
from,
singing this time, too.
trying to get away from paper unless you guys object to that.
No, less paper the better.
Okay,
Galaxy Parlor.
are you guys ready to review that at this time?
Not this time. Right.
Yeah, I was gonna call you later.
He's in a band.
Part of it, so I'm gonna have to abstain.
Yes.
You don't want me to see a cantina. It's never happened again.
Well, I'm trying to corral everybody here, I'm sorry. So you, Mr. Chairman, you, with the consensus of the commission, you had asked me to prepare a draft resolution of approval.
That
for
is
this
correct.
meeting, correct?
Yes,
Okay. So I do have one that I will put up on the screen for
Yes.
everyone to read through the Star Wars scroll. I think it's worth noting for you guys that this was a site plan review, so you only had 65 days to review it. This, you guys accepted this application all the way back in February. And then you had your meetings in March and April to look at this. And now with an extension, for however many days, I forgot how many it was that you put in that letter, Attorney Olson.
14.
Thank you. That's what got us to tonight. So you've had 1, 2, 3 chances to look at this, excluding when you accepted this, so. I'll put that up for you guys and you can read it.
thank you.
Get to it. I don't understand why this is. I'm sorry, guys, just bear with me.
You gotta eat your vegetables first, Doug.
I can see it fine.
I just see it now.
I can see clearly now.
Position.
Well, this is not close, I can read it. Close, I need the glasses.
That's too much.
The agenda, the printed version in front of Pat, it's very short tonight.
I've been writing on it, sorry.
No,
Yeah,
There
the
we
header
go.
issue
That's
too.
what I
they
want.
rude.
all right, can everybody read this?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna scroll. through
Lori, can you
slowly.
see it?
No, she cannot, she's on the phone.
Your salutation
I'm
needs to
sorry.
be adjusted.
I can't see it on the phone.
Okay, did not realize, thank you.
Yeah, that's the other property of the residence.
Thank you.
Lawyers, they catch everything.
I think it should just say Two Steiner Inc.
Okay, there are a couple of housekeeping things in here that I still have yet to do. I don't think it's going to ultimately affect you guys being able to vote on this. It's just me getting all my exhibits and revision dates in order. But the meat of what you guys need for this application and the conditions, they're all in here. And we can go through and discuss if there are any specific ones that you want me to add.
This is everything that was submitted.
Like, for instance, I know Mr. DeVess is gonna be looking for his response comments to mine and James DeMayo's staff reports. I don't have those in here, but I think it's worth knowing that you guys have all seen them, you've all read them, and I can just add them in here. It shouldn't be that.
Is that correct?
The header
Header
needs to be
again.
adjusted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
Here we go, and that's great.
Scroll faster.
This is actually, yeah.
That's fine.
I would have known.
Yeah, screwed.
Can you slow it back down a little, please?
Yeah, just.
So where it was. Can you slow it down, please?
Oh, okay,
Hey, Dave,
It's a little-
the stormwater quality manual, has that been updated since?
No,
Did
No, it
something
has
come
not.
out last year? Then
no. That was
it's
before the last
designed
time.
to-
No,
Footer
we
also.
had a tone
Save the footer.
revision.
Okay,
okay,
I'm sorry,
that's okay.
What does it say?
Shelley Road.
No, I'm glad you guys are getting these now.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I wish the Zoom, whatchamacallit, didn't get in the way of me.
right.
Editing.
Oh, got it.
Sorry.
Oop.
Going back to where we were.
Yeah.
There aren't any surprises with any of the conditions.
I think it was
Most of them are
straightforward.
Boilerplate, pretty standard. I don't recall you guys having any specific recommendations for any of the conditions here. If you guys want me to add any, I'd be more than happy to do that. Actually, nope, I'm seeing one right now that doesn't need to be taken away. There you go. Yeah, I don't know where the fourth page comes from. There shouldn't be a fourth page.
You took something out, so it
Yep.
had,
There you go.
Yeah.
perfect.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for anything that's written?
Anyone have any other considerations? Anyone added?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Nicholas Jordan. Can we say add something about the use of fertilizers? Like us, we should have something kind of stating that we can say, or at least for this,
Okay,
to the use of non-synthetic fertilizers, natural fertilizers, limit the use of them to that.
okay, I like the word synthetic. Good
And
choice.
non-synthetic. fertilizer.
Right, but I like your use of the word
Okay.
synthetic.
And then something about like the minimal use of them as necessary for the maintenance of the property.
I don't have a problem adding it. The only thing I always get in my head
That it
is.
doesn't matter because there's no way to enforce it.
Exactly, yeah, who's gonna,
Well, it's
That's
a-
okay, I mean,
well,
it's
we
just
just put it in
there,
there.
right?
I have no
What do you
problem
guys,
with
we're
it.
doing our
wait,
due
can I ask what,
diligence.
can we ask the applicant, like if that's, or how do we do this?
I
How
don't
do
know if we
add-
can, but we had asked the applicant and they have responded that. They don't want to put too much fertilizer to begin with anyway, because it's costly expense.
Oh, yeah, right, but isn't it good that we put something in there like that to? Just remind you guys, or,
Yeah, we could add.
no,
something,
is
that's
that like undue burden or something, or, I know it's not, it shouldn't be annoying, really, or.
fine. No.
Or it is.
if We can.
No, I agree with that.
We've had it. done with
Because
others
we can't
before.
police it, but at the same time, we
Right,
can
that's fine.
request it, so it's us doing our due
I'm not
diligence.
gonna go and say, yeah,
Yeah.
like, it's just like we stated this, that we cared about this and it mattered.
No, that's
to-
fine. We've had
to
another.
The Welland and the applicant and we agree on it, so.
No, we've had other applications where we did that, so. So I'm just trying to figure out. We can't say because Dave's good at wording this stuff.
Natural fertilizers and.
I
Use of only
I
natural
think non-synthetic is I think that's a better choice of word to use there, Nico.
Non-synthetic natural fertilizers.
Non-synthetic, I wouldn't specify too much, I
Redundant.
think non-synthetic is the perfect way to put it.
Yeah, I don't think you want us using natural fertilizer.
None of you.
Well, not.
Naturally derived, I would say naturally derived.
Got a lot of manure.
Yeah. Well, naturally,
Not gonna be so
naturally.
happy if you start spreading cow.
No, it's gonna go, you know,
It's separated, a lot of it up here.
It should be aged.
I mean,
A little catapult.
you could do it to spiteful, but it would just backfire a
Just
little.
saying, that's how that works. Yeah,
You know, put a Pennsylvania.
okay, noted. So,
non-synthetic, naturally derived. Is it's what I believe that.
That's a little.
I know we put, you know better than I do. I
Derived, that's
I
kind
have a
of.
lawn doctor, so, oh, yeah.
Well,
But you said
man,
earth,
you're off the-
we had put earth in.
We had, but I like
Weeds are
your
green.
use of the word
Well,
non-synthetic.
these are industry like terms, industry standards.
Grass and weeds are green.
For
My
these
lawn is green.
products.
Clover. Clover's green.
Yeah, Clover's great.
And I see it written on our, in a lot of our regulations from different applications I've seen in the world of land use law
Right,
or land use.
right, but that doesn't mean that you can't, that you can't consider room for improvement, and if this word better addresses the concerns that you have with them applying fertilizers, that's what I would recommend you use.
So the applicant shall limit the usage of any fertilization materials to be non-synthetic. Shall limit the usage to the minimal. Okay,
That's just as a
something
thing.
about the minimal use of non-synthetic,
Now you're worried about the quantity.
naturally.
That's okay.
Yeah,
No, but
but this is should be.
You got
standard stuff.
non-synthetic.
We need something, we need like a standard, like thing that exists in someplace else, that.
Right.
Have.
well, we can look into it for
So we're
future
back.
applications.
Right, I don't know if there's a uniform application rate for every single fertilizer.
No, they're all different.
And then furthermore, you don't know how many times per year it's getting fertilized. And you don't want to try to limit whoever's doing manicured lawns in either of those facets. Because then you essentially putting me in a position to be, every time someone goes out there, I'm watching them apply a fertilizer. Or if you want me to be fair and consistent, that's what I would have to do with every application. So it's like you have to moderate the condition to some degree to get your concern addressed.
You can, again, I'm not to break the law, but if you put too much down, you're burning anyway, so they can't just put too much down. It's not like you put a ton down and.
Well,
Yeah, there's-
You can over fertilize.
Oh, I have, that's why I got one right there.
Yeah, it's just a reminder to them, they're supposed to do it for the property management.
I
Okay.
think what you're saying, Nico, is that much like the placards,
Is it already written in
the
there?
reminder is in the paperwork that we're asking them to be mindful of this. And yes, is that pretty much what we're doing?
Did you guys write anything about that in the
No,
Maybe
no,
it's got
no,
Land care.
land care maintenance? We review that, or?
Is there anything?
Yeah, if you
Well,
want, if
plan-
you guys wanna go through the notes, I do not recall seeing anything specifically about fertilizers that would be used or their application or the amount of material that needs to get used.
It could become over specific, and then you're getting too nuanced into the.
I think this-
detail, and we can't, we can't.
I think we're new.
I'm just trying to figure out how to write the.
You're not gonna over fertilize.
I don't think you, I think, I understand where you had the salt concern, you can't over fertilize.
You do more damage than you do good when you do that.
And quite honestly, again, I'm not an expert on lawn care or anything, but
Also,
I think the professionals that are putting it down know how much to put down because they're
It-
wasting money if they just over fertilize. If they under fertilize, they're not gonna be doing it anymore.
Yeah,
So,
there's directions on the bag about
So-
what the application rates are for the said stated.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they know.
Fertilizer.
If,
They're not
if,
gonna overdo it.
if
we're
this,
getting
if
into
this
that,
was a
let's-
homeowner
put a
who
label
did
on
not
coffee
have
that
to
it's
go through
Come
what
on.
I would imagine is a license, a
Let's
license procedure to do what some of these lawn care experts do.
Right.
If it was someone like where you were building a single family home in an upland UV area and you were concerned about the amount of fertilizers, yeah, that might be a situation where you might want to be a little more nuanced just because you're dealing with someone who's maybe not going to be as well versed in how fertilizers work or how often they should be used. So you would throw in a condition more so for the purpose of guidance
Yeah,
than to be overbearing and say you can only do this type of fertilizer this time of year and apply this many pounds of it per square foot.
no, they're gonna know how to do
My
it.
point saying that you're
Right.
gonna be using the same
Right,
companies that
so-
you're using
so
for your
my-
other properties,
my-
correct? They do a fantastic.
Are
bang
you-
up job.
Right, so my point
Yeah,
is,
Well,
if-
wait, what?
They're
Yeah,
gonna be using the companies that are basically your company. That they already are using on the properties that they have
Which is
in
what
town,
they state.
that are doing a fantastic job now. Why would we question them and try to hold them accountable?
right,
I
I'm
think,
not
For something
questioning.
that they're.
I think if I could chime in real quick.
I'm not asking, what are you guys using? for
What
the-
I always have a concern about is enforcement and not enforcement now, but enforcement in 20 years.
Right.
You know, when the Steiners aren't there anymore and David's not here anymore and you're not here anymore. And all of a sudden, the question, well, your approval from 20 years ago says you can't use Scott's four step, you know, that enforcement's a problem. And so the way you deal with it is not to say you can do this, you can't do this, but you make sure the plan as designed would work just fine if somebody did over fertilize. So, you know, is there a concern with the wetlands and their condition that would be affected by over fertilization? So do we have a pond where we can have bloom if we get too much nitrogen, that kind of thing? Second, we have buffer plantings that will pick up anything along that.
It's gonna
If
be.
you had a homeowner who was proposing a manicured lawn to the edge of the pond. The way that I would deal with it if I were you is to say, no, you can't do that. We need a 10-foot buffer of something else to make sure that when you do put all your fertilizer down. Something else picks it up before it gets into the pond.
Mm.
So then you don't have any enforcement problems because nature just takes care of it.
Nature.
Here, most of the site gets picked up by the stormwater system and run through the stormwater thing that we talked a lot about. There's plantings around the edge of the wetlands and if there's excess fertilizer, it's gonna get picked up and help that stuff grow.
So it's a design for that.
Yeah, you deal with it by design
Make-
rather than by
Makes
things
sense.
written down that somebody has to interpret and enforce.
Yeah,
You know, that's how I look at it, how you handle it.
It's a good way of putting it, actually.
Thank you. So I'm fine with the way the comment is.
so there's nothing.
And I hope you saw that in the 20 years, so.
no, so I'm gonna put the modified condition back up on the screen so everybody can see it and so everybody knows what it is.
Yes,
So what you have right now is you have a draft resolution of approval.
And you have one change.
With 7 conditions.
Yes,
One of them that you added tonight, condition 7. And then this decision being based on your usual 3 reasons, which I have up here on the screen.
So it says non-synthetic, what?
It says the condition you guys.
number 7, applicant shall limit
Yeah.
the use of any fertilizer materials to be non-synthetic.
So it means they're asked to, I don't know, like they were asked to use non-synthetic.
And you guys don't write naturally derived in your submission?
Well, I would say not.
I think non-synthetic is,
Is a greater coverall. You don't have to, you would not have to specify natural. I think non-synthetic is the better wordage to use.
Do most people know what synthetic means?
well, it would be their job to know what that means because.
I would seriously hope that they know what that
As
means if they're in the
professionals.
industry.
Again,
I don't
It's just redundant.
really.
Synthetic means derived, natural means naturally occurring, so you're saying twice.
yeah, I think that works fine.
Okay.
Okay. All right, any other changes,
Thank you.
additions, comments, concerns? Okay,
Happy new.
I make a motion that we accept the application. Sorry, I need that for Benedict Road. / Millbrook Road 8, 9, 10, and 17. As outlined in the resolution for approval with the 7 conditions. With the reasoning being the 3 decision-based comments. That work?
That works.
Okay,
I second.
okay. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Against?
I would recommend,
Go.
I would recommend you
Person
do
by
a roll
person.
call.
Does everyone vote?
So
Laura's on Zoom.
so Laura's on Zoom.
Right, all right. Laura, for, against, or abstain?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you. Greg,
Yes, we're good.
Patrick, yes.
Danielle does not.
Danielle,
Yes.
okay,
Gavin Seaman, yes.
okay, motion carries.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
patience and.
Thanks for that
your advice.
explanation as well. That's actually very helpful.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Are you up for election this time? I didn't know I was, I am.
Actually,
Because I'm not running. Sorry. I won't do that. But you're up this time? I
Thanks,
didn't
guys.
know I was
Okay.
not.
Good night. Good night.
you.
They asked me today, I was gonna rerun the link.
Greg, if you don't come, I don't get seated though. Pat does.
She's
Oh.
not here.
That's true, but you said next one. Lucas.
All right, new business, regular meeting minutes from 4/24. Any discussion? Okay.
Good.
Make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes from 4/24 as written.
I second.
Okay, seconded. Laura? Yay, nay, or abstain?
Laura, you are muted.
yeah.
Okay, Greg? Yay,
Gavin, yeah.
okay, motion carries, minutes are accepted. And we have an invoice. Care to discuss what that is for $902?
That is
912,
for
excuse
the
me.
4 decisions that you've had posted since your last meeting, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Make a motion that we accept and pay the Danbury News Times $912.36 for expenses as noted.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, Laura?
Aye.
Okay. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. You have any comments?
I do not, I didn't write any down, so I can't add any.
Okay. Anyone else, anything else they need to bring up before we adjourn?
How was the sidewalk?
It was good. I had some questions from the sidewalk.
Can't bring them up tonight.
The applicant left, right? We're not.
Right.
The
So-
question I have, I forgot that I was gonna be in Florida that weekend, but since it's such a large scale. I know that's being done, I really would like to take a look at it. Is it possible to work with the applicant to just put on the property, or has that since passed?
I could arrange for them to meet you out on the property.
Okay.
What I would recommend for you, if you are going to go out there. You do not want to disservice the other commissioner members from not seeing what you saw. So take photographs.
Okay,
You're out
yeah,
there.
okay, understood.
I sent you what I have.
Yes, although it came in grayscale, so I'll have to have you send it to me again.
The airdrop.
No, it wasn't, maybe it wasn't the airdrop, but the photo you sent to me on Saturday came in grayscale.
What does that mean?
It was black and white.
Really?
Yeah.
The email did that?
I don't know, there was a text message. I didn't get an email.
Oh, no, I sent an email to you just now. You'll get it.
Oh, okay,
You'll get it.
okay,
I sent you.
okay, very good. So that'll be in the record for next meeting. And then if you take any photos, please send them to me before the next meeting so that I can bring them for the record too.
Yeah, that's fine, and you could have them, we can communicate via email or text or whatever.
Whatever medium works best for you, if you want to coordinate that with them one-on-one, I can ask if they're amenable to that. I would just have you let me know when they plan to go up there with you.
That's perfect. That's
Okay.
fine. Yep, absolutely.
Okay,
Would it be useful if I share my questions with you guys
Can't do it.
So
to do it every
here's,
meeting.
here's,
to not like have people be like blindsided or something.
No.
Oh, you're not blindsiding us, it's open discussion.
so here's what I would recommend you do, Nico. So you took your notes down for the site, from the sidewalk this past Saturday, correct?
Yeah,
So I would put them in a typed format.
Yeah.
And then have them be distributed when the public hearing continues for this
okay,
on the 26th, and that goes for all of you if you have any
that's
questions.
the play. All right.
I would recommend you do it that way, so that way it's in for the records, you don't have to worry about. Mary getting something that's verbatim.
Well, I got lucky that it wasn't, that they pushed it. 'Cause I didn't have it typed up and ready to go.
Or you just would know.
That's cool too. That allows me
Yeah.
time to put together some questions after I
Yes.
see it, because it's hard to,
Yep,
something at that scale, it's
Feel like
easier to
that's
come up with,
yep,
like,
I'm not saying you can't do it,
better
I'm saying
questions
you don't
once
need
it's
to.
Reference.
seen visually.
so.
I just want to make it easy for you.
I like
guys.
this open discussion myself.
Yeah, I just want to make it easier for you guys to understand where I'm coming from, because sometimes I feel like I'm not, expressing myself or my concerns and questions like well enough, because I feel like, or maybe not, like, that
If you want to
that it
type,
would be useful for you guys too.
if you want to type them up and try it that way and see if you feel it comes across better that way.
I mean, just
absolutely.
because then you guys can do your own research and be like, oh, I understand what he's talking about, or.
If-
Like,
If you have questions.
because I know you guys on my side and stuff, I can't, it means nothing if like you guys don't understand. what I'm talking about.
Right,
It-
no,
Here's a
There's no
recommendation,
chance.
here's a recommendation I'll make. If it wasn't for something that everybody could see, that everybody was looking at the same time, your comments are based on recall from an event in the past, that's where I would have you type them up. If it's something, if it's an off the cuff question, like sometimes, Pat will come up with something, Greg will come up with something, any of you guys will come up with something, that's not an issue. Because you're all getting that question verbatim at the same time, right? But if it's something that you're basing on recall, that's where I would recommend you type it. So that way everybody can
Take it or leave it.
can digest it.
Yeah,
And then if they need to, it can be resurfaced again at the next meeting, or the applicant will have a chance to respond to it.
plus it'll give me a chance to hone.
That's
that
correct,
topic
that's
as well,
correct.
Or hone.
So it's a win-win for everybody.
Okay.
That's just my advice.
Yeah, and I don't want to burden you guys either. I'm
No,
trying to help. Yeah,
it's not a burden if,
I have trouble with public speaking, like, I can't communicate, like. You know,
I
what I
think
mean?
you-
It's hard, it's like,
public speak just fine.
it's very hard for me. I'm
I,
trying to.
I get the struggle of trying to be efficient with the words that you use. And I say this for myself too, like you have to be, you have to be
Wander through it.
you have to be able to get your point across and have them understand what it is that you want them to say. So
I
it
feel too
takes,
much pressure
Yeah.
for some reason, like
Yeah.
in these meetings and like
It-
time crunch too. but, like,
it takes practice. I think,
'cause we don't want to stay here long. I
Right.
don't want to keep us here. I don't want to be the annoying guy who like asks all the questions, like, fucking, this is already off. I'd
right,
rather we,
right, but
but I have to.
at the
ask
same
questions.
time, if it minimizes the discussion you would otherwise have when you're deliberating on an application.
Yeah.
If you get something out that's transparent, it makes that discussion more efficient.
But it
So
has to be presented to the commission in the public meeting, in the meeting.
that's,
Yeah, because
yeah,
otherwise
Right.
you could have like,
It has to be presented to us
Yeah.
in this
if,
form.
for us to consider, yes.
Okay, cool.
Otherwise you start getting into
Yeah, we're not allowed to
private
go
meetings and
private
all that.
meeting,
Yeah.
guys,
if, yes. Yeah,
Even amongst the community, our commission.
Right.
That's why I
Okay.
if
telling you, like, we can't talk about stuff outside.
No, yeah, yeah,
It's all open.
if
here.
there's
excellent.
if there's a question that you have that is not. If there's a question or a concern that you have that you don't get answered. You can't just bring it up after the public hearing closes or after the site plan review when you guys are discussing it with a draft resolution of approval. Or at least that's what I would recommend. That's what any land use council would recommend. Just because you want to get all that stuff aired out for the record. You have to give the applicant an ample opportunity to address it. And if you don't put that out there, you're denying them that. And then that gives them.
And if they don't address it and you go back and forth and stuff. And you feel it's stuck, that's where you can.
Right,
deny the
understood.
application.
We really should curtail this discussion.
Okay.
guys.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Second,
All those in favor, sing by saying aye. We have to go stuff on that. Laura,
Aye.
thank you. Greg?
Aye.
Me, aye.
Aye.
There you go.
Kevin, aye.
Okay, very good.
We are adjourned. Thank you.